Hello parents and boys and girls, this is Mrs. Versman. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some ideas for ways you can do homework with your child. Homework sets good work habits for now and for future years as your child gets older. We want your child to learn that consistency and practice will help him to be successful as a learner and a confident reader. We also know that there are very many demands on your time, and we do not want homework to be a burden for you and your child, but to be something that you can do together and something that can be fun every day after school. First of all, try to set a consistent time to do homework with your child. Maybe after school is best for you. Maybe they need to have a snack and some playtime first, and maybe you get together after supper. Whatever time it is, do what works best for your family. Most of the classes at kindergarten have a binder that your child brings home every night. This is the binder that I use in my classroom, and I'm sure your child has a similar binder. Inside your binder, every night we'd like you to go through and first of all find their fluency folder. I like to give credit to Ms. Swally, Mrs. B, and Mrs. Trask especially for spending most of the time creating the fluency folders, which we think are very important. As you know, there's a math section and a reading section for the fluency folder, and sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming. What we'd like you to think about is to do at least one side of the fluency folder every night. Maybe you want to set a schedule. For example, you might want to do the math side on Mondays and Wednesdays and the reading side on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We think it's really important that you touch on that fluency folder every night, at least a section or two, maybe not going through the whole page if you don't have time, but to hit the sight words, to hit some of these skills that we have here in the fluency folder. And it's very important that you sign off on the fluency folder every time you do it with your child so that we can see that you are practicing at home and we can see what your child needs to work on as well. So again, if you could set a schedule with the fluency folder, do math a couple days a week, do reading a couple days a week, try to do as much of it as you can, but again, don't make this a big time-consuming event. Just spend a few minutes on the pages so that you have lots of time for your family as well. Another thing you can do for homework is to go through the sight words. The sight words are here on the flashcards. Most of the classes send these home, so you can go through the flashcards with your child, have them do this independently. One of my very creative parents one year put the flashcards up in the bathtub of all places, so that when their child was taking a bath, they could go through their sight words. So every night, if you could go through the fluency folder for a few minutes and practice some sight words, that's great. If you can do that on a consistent basis, your child will have a great start to forming those good work habits. This is my friend Olivia's folder that she brings home. So if I was her parent, I would go through the work that she brought home. Olivia did a great job on her writing today. Take a look at any other papers that she has in her folder and see what else, if there's anything in here that I need to look at that's important. We as kindergarten teachers, of course, think everything is important that comes home, but it's just important that you go through the papers and take those things out so that your child comes back to school ready for the next day. Another important part of your at-home routine could be reading with your child. Now there are some picture books. I'm sure you all have piles of picture books at your houses. Go to the library for picture books, but it's just great to spend some time reading aloud to your child. Some of your kids are ready for chapter books. I have mixed feelings on the Junie B. Jones books. They are hilarious and I love them. However, there are some things in Junie B. Jones that are not quite appropriate behaviors, and Barbara Park, the author, just writes those to be funny, but sometimes you just have to kind of skim through as you're reading and just make sure that you think everything is funny in there, because I just think they're great. Magic Treehouse books are a little bit more difficult, but these are really fun books to read to your child, and as they start to be interested in chapter books, these are great books for them to pick up on their own. Again, Horrible Harry is another great chapter book series. These are a little bit harder, but these are great books for reading out loud to your child. Most of your kids bring home sight word books, and we've had videos about the sight word books before, so take a look at their familiar reading bags, go through their sight word books. Some of your kids bring home some of their guided reading books, just familiar books that they've read at school, And these are books that they have a lot of confidence as readers, and it's great for them to share those with you at home. This week we did send home the new book report packet for this semester, and a lot of our kids have been doing a great job on their book reports. We would like everybody to do 10 book reports to get the Reading Circle Award by the end of the year. And I've already had some kiddos turn these in this first week of school, so great job, kindergartners. Finally, if you're looking for more to do, keeping those kiddos busy, I know can be a challenge, to take a look at the math work mats that come home. This is the math work mat that we'll be doing in a couple weeks for topic 8. And the first work mat that comes home for each unit does have the homeschool connection. So there's a lot of good ideas on home activities. There's always a game to play so that you can do that with your child. Every night when a work mat comes home, there is a home activity suggestion. So if your child has already completed the work mat at school, then you can go through that with them and do the home activity at home to reinforce some of those skills. Parents, I know that sounds like a lot. Again, we know that family time is important, and we know that you have a lot of things on your schedules. So I'd just like to review. If you can do the fluency folder every night, that would be great. If you can practice sight words every night, that would be awesome. If you can do some kind of reading to your child, that is so important, and that will really help your child now and in the future. One more thing I'd like to touch on are a couple websites that we use at school that your kids like to do. This one is called starfall.com. It's really a fun website, and they can navigate through that by themselves. Bookflix is another website that we use at school. Your kids can listen to these stories at home. And then also the Raz Kids website that we've talked about in a previous video, where they each have their own login and different books that your child's teacher has assigned to them. So those 3 websites, Raz Kids, Bookflix, and Starfall, are great websites for your child to practice and have fun and do at home as well. I'd like to finish this video with just a little quote. This quote says, "Children are made readers in the laps of their parents," and I just think that's just so precious, that our kiddos become readers and become confident and successful learners by listening to you read to them and spending that time with you. So whatever time you have to spend with your child reading, that will just help them so much in the future. So I'd really like to encourage you to read to your child as much as you can, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes every night. That will really help them. All right, have a great week.